And joining us now is Jill Stein. She's the Green Party presidential candidate for president, and she's here to talk about her candidacy and Bernie Sanders' endorsement of Hillary Clinton. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kimberly. Good to see you.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. And let's begin with that. Well, no, let's start with your candidacy. Why are you running for president, and what would you like to do in this race?
I think we're in a historic moment. We've seen unprecedented crises really across every dimension of life. Jobs that are low wage and part-time. In fact, wages that are barely above poverty for the majority of workers. We have a generation of young people locked into predatory student loan debt without any way out in the foreseeable future, given the economy that we have. Black lives are on the firing line. Immigrants facing mass deportations, wars for oil are blowing back at us, and the climate's in meltdown. So, you know, we have a problem. The American people have really had it with this rigged economy. They're tired of being thrown under the bus, and they've had it with a rigged political system that has delivered this disastrous economy. So it's really time for transformational change that won't come from two political parties funded by the same usual suspects: predatory banks, fossil fuel giants, war profiteers, pharmaceutical companies, health insurance companies, etc. The usual suspects who are making out like bandits while everyday people are really struggling to get by. So we can fix this with a variety of solutions. I'm the only candidate in this race with the only national political party that is not poisoned by corporate money, by lobbyists, by super PACs. So I have the unique ability in this race to provide the American people the real solutions that people are clamoring for. That is an emergency jobs program that will fix actually the emergency of the climate crisis. Health care is a human right. Canceling student debt like we did for the bankers. We bailed out the crooks on Wall Street. It's about time we bailed out the young people who are victims of that waste, fraud, and abuse on Wall Street. We need higher education as essentially for free as a human right, which actually pays for itself. For every dollar we invest as taxpayers, we get back $7 for every dollar we put into this. And we need a foreign policy based on international law and human rights. So
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. So it seems that a lot of the things that you were talking about as part of your platform on the Green Party align with what we heard from Senator Bernie Sanders in his bid to be the Democratic nominee. How does the Green Party differ from his progressive Democratic platform?
The main difference is that we have a political party that actually supports that platform. And I think what we've seen happen over the course of the last year is really proof of principle as to why we need an independent political party for a truly progressive agenda. The Democratic Party really, shall we say, had the system steeply tilted towards Hillary Clinton from the get-go. We've seen that in leaked emails. We've seen it in the superdelegates and Super Tuesdays that really give incredible advantage to the insider candidate. We saw what looked like stripping of the voter rolls in Brooklyn, 2 million votes not counted in California, and so on. Debates that really minimized Senator Sanders. So what we've seen really is that you can't have a revolutionary campaign inside of a counter-revolutionary party. So that's why we're here, and we're here to keep that movement going.
Okay, we are talking to Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein, who is joining us from Massachusetts. We want to hear from our callers. Democrats, 202-748-8000. Republicans, 202-748-8001. Independents, 202-748-8002. And we have a special line for Green Party voters. They can call 202-748-8003. Now, you have been critical, as we said, of other candidates in this, and you are also critical of Senator Sanders for his decision to endorse Hillary Clinton last week. You tweeted, if you don't want to vote for a warmonger or a racist billionaire, there are more options. you had also tweeted previously, while Trump praises dictators, Hillary takes their money. Remind us again of Saudi Arabia's human rights record. Are you still upset that Senator Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton, given your criticisms?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, this was completely expected. It's what he said from the very beginning. He's a man of his word, and he's been working with the Democratic Party and caucusing with them ever since he's been in Washington, D.C. You know, I offered to sit down with Senator Sanders and explore how we might collaborate, willing to put everything on the table. But, you know, I was not holding my breath that that was going to happen. We've been attempting to have a conversation with Senator Sanders for many years.
You actually invited him to take over your spot on the Green Party ticket, correct?
Well, let me clarify that. You know, the nomination is up to the delegates, and I'm currently, you know, the presumptive nominee, but it's not like you can give away your slot. My offer was to sit down and collaborate with him, and if he had truly learned from this very disturbing experience that he's had over the past year, where the Democratic Party used every underhanded technique in the book to basically sabotage his campaign. If he learned from that and became persuaded about why we need independent politics that's not controlled by, you know, ultimately by insiders and by big money behind the scenes, if he had learned from that and became a proponent of the Green Party as the alternative to this predatory politics, as a people's politics, then I think, you know, it would have been very exciting to have brought him to the convention and appealed to the delegates to consider him as the lead candidate, and
Okay.
I would gladly have stepped aside. But that was all contingent on a whole bunch of hypotheticals, so it was never really a concrete possibility. And I'm not critical of Senator Sanders. I'm just very critical of the political system as it exists, which is throwing us over the cliff right now, and with which we have no future. So I think it's very important to be honest about what's happening and to speak to that as a human being.
Okay, we have a lot of callers are waiting to talk to you. First, we have Kevin.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, so I thought this was interesting about Jill Stein. I hadn't heard that she had offered Bernie Sanders her slot, her presidential candidate slot for the Green Party. I think that that's pretty clear what a big sellout that Bernie Sanders has become. I mean, sure, he needs to be a man of his word, but not necessarily to somebody who lies every day to the American public, right? You know, he says he's an independent, and then he's like, you know, can't wait to sign up with the Democrats. And the Democrats are the problem. The Republicans are the problem. All of America's problems for the last 80 years has come from the Republicans and the Democrats. Okay? The Republicans and the Democrats need to be outlawed. We need to send every member of Congress back home, hopefully back to home to prison, and get some people in there who are not tied to Wall Street, who are not tied to the big pharmaceutical companies, who are not tied to, you know, the military industrial complex, who are more like your neighbors, who aren't these filthy rich bastards helping their filthy rich bastard friends become even more rich. Because that's where we're at in Congress at this moment. That's what the state of American politics is and has been for the vast majority of my life, as far as I can tell. So thank you to Jill Stein for letting us know that she did make that offer to Bernie Sanders. So we know how much Bernie Sanders really was there for the people who got behind him. Because there's not one voter, not one Bernie Sanders voter that would vote for Donald Trump if Bernie Sanders had taken over Jill Stein's slot at the Green Party. There's not one Not a single Bernie Sanders voter that would vote for Hillary Clinton if Bernie Sanders had taken over Jill Stein's slot as Green Party presidential candidate. Not a single one. He would have kept all of his people. So why did he sell out all those people who came and supported him, who gave him his $27? Why would he do that? How does it make any sense? Does it say that he's just been alive from the beginning? Or he just is the controlled opposition? Is that who you are, Bernie? You're the controlled opposition? You stand up and make pretty speeches, and then the second you can slither off behind some piece of garbage Democrat, you do? Very sad. Very, very sad, Bernie. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Mike. This is my YouTube page. If you want to see the full Jill Stein interview, it's about 45 minutes long. It's available at the Alternate Mox News YouTube page. There's a clickable link in the text body of this video. On the page, the YouTube page which this video is posted on, there's a little box down below that says Alternate Mox News YouTube page. Click here. Click that link. It'll take you right over there. Jill Stein will be right at the top. You can see the full 40, 45, 50-minute Jill Stein interview. I'm not exactly sure, but it's 40 minutes plus. So if you want, she's a very smart lady. She'd make a great candidate. Unfortunately, she's going nowhere. But we'll talk about that more soon. Okay? So stay cool. One of these days, this war is going to end. Till that day.
Compassion stirred the Buddha to send his monks out into the community. Sworn to chastity and poverty, they wandered the roads, bringing the Buddha's teachings into the world. Go forth, monks, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world. There are beings whose eyes have little dust on them, who will perish if they do not hear the teaching. But if they hear the teaching, they will gain liberation.
The monks exist by begging. We think of begging as kind of a bad thing. Begging in this tradition is a good thing. It's a sign of spiritual purity.
You're not allowed to beg tomorrow's lunch today. Only today's lunch. Then you can't eat from noon until dawn the next day. Then you have to go out and get another lunch. And then in exchange for lunch, you give a lecture. Unless they say we don't want to hear about it, then you don't. But that's the only thing but that forces you to interact with the lay community.
And if you're not serving them, if you're not doing something useful for them, they won't put anything in your bowl, and that will be the end of your community.